Well, in Zoang, the experience of being tired is just that. It's not necessarily a problem that we should fix from the Zoang perspective. But if that is something that's happening, then like I mentioned in the kind of side effects talk, which I don't know if you've had a chance to
Yeah, yeah.
listen to that, but it is expected that if we have a backlog of a sleep deficit, that will come out. It may or may not come out in different kinds of meditations. In some meditations where you're really focusing, that's maybe something different. But in Zoang, where we have whatever kind of uh, um, auxiliary practice we may have, maybe it's a body scan or something, and
Um,
but then in Zoang we're releasing from there. So Zoang is not a method we can point to, right? It's a releasing from something,
yeah,
and that releasing is has a lot of similarity to sleep, actually. Um, yeah, Liu
okay.
Ming
Yeah,
once said that you know Zoang and sleep and death have something in common.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
um,
yeah. Okay, yeah, understand that.
but if we are running with the sleep deficit, then that will come out in Zoang. Um, and and when it comes up, it just comes up, and maybe you get off the cushion and sleep. Yeah, regulating our cycles is, of course, a big part of Taoist practice and Buddhist practice too, but Buddhism doesn't really think about it in those terms. But
Yeah,
Buddhism is traditionally practiced in monasteries, and the monastery environment regulates your
yeah,
cycles. So there's usually, in my experience, there's a fair amount of physical activity in monasteries. So
yeah.
there's a fair amount of bowing or working practice, um, and probably not a whole lot of sleep. Wake up early, go to bed maybe a little bit early, but Buddhist mindset is really kind of cut. It's like wake up and cut through sleep, and so there's a kind of cultural
Three.
mindset
We are three.
around Buddhism to kind of, it's like physical pain. Sit through
Yeah,
the pain, or if you're getting sleepy, just bring up your intent.
the struggle. Yeah,
But
yeah,
we don't want to bring up our we don't want to pull up our willpower. In Taoist understanding, you pull up your willpower, you're tapping your kidneys. Well, that's like kind of digging your feet in. You can push through and get some results when we do that, but it comes at a cost, and it ends up depleting us. And so
yeah,
Lao-tzu talks about relaxing the will. So yeah, if sleep comes up, our approach is not to get more intense. It's just, but it's not necessarily to just doze off. It's just experience it, and if you do need
yeah.
to get up and go to sleep, that's fine. One of the things that I have found really precious about the Zhuang view and method, really, they go together, is the view that we're not here um, trying to be a certain way. We're not saying that we are supposed to be fully awake, or we are supposed to be enlightened, or we are supposed to be immortal, or we
Mm.
are supposed to be in alignment with Tao. That's not all Wu Wei Dao. Those
Mm,
have their place. We call those conceptual paths. So we can take on concepts. Maybe they're simple concepts, maybe they're complex, but if it's a conceptual path, it's the idea of conceptual paths is we have our like our before practicing situation, which is in need of something. It is in need of some kind of practice or salvation or breakthrough or improvement or transformation. That is not our starting point in Zoang. So in Zoang, we say, just how are we right now? And completely letting ourselves just be as we are right now. So any kind of, idea that we have, and this is what's interesting when we go into, I guess if we call it meditation, that's a dubious term actually for Zoang. And I think we should get away from the word meditation because, what is meditation? Meditation is you're doing some kind of special activity. But that's not really what we're doing in Zoang. What we're doing in Zoang is, we set up our posture and that's it. There's really nothing else to it. But in reality, there's a lot more to it because it's what are we bringing to it? And this is where we want to kind of, take the crown off of our head and see what is it that we're bringing to it. And depending on what our perspectives and goals and kind of the chi patterns and the mentality that we come from in our culture and our upbringing, there's a really good chance that we're bringing all kinds of stuff, like I'm not assuming anything about what you might be bringing, but some of us may be bringing a desire to be saved or a desire to do the right thing. Like, I just want to do the right thing. And somewhere around the line, I got this idea that meditation is the right thing to do. So I want to do it. Well, there's already a tension there. It's not a bad, sometimes we need these relative paths to kind of move us toward some kind of improved condition, but that's not Zoang practice.
I understand that very well.
So I am an advocate for auxiliary practices at the front end of sitting as well, like the body scan techniques and whatnot.
Oh, sorry, I didn't understand.
I advocate auxiliary practices like body scan techniques or breathing or whatnot, something to kind of hold on to when either, like if we are getting a little like, overly sleepy or overly caught up in our thinking, something to come back to, but we hold it pretty lightly here. Yeah, these 9 points of posture are so I want to say crucial as a foundation in Zoang. It's something that we can kind of connect our awareness to our body. At some point, it's not so much like physical adjustments, but it's energetic adjustment. So we're operating not from the physical, but we're operating from the energetic. So the chi body, what appears to be a physical body, a precedent to what appears to be this physical body is a chi body. And that chi body, it has yin and yang, for sure. And yin and yang expresses itself in different ways. It expresses itself by, sometimes it's big, sometimes it's kind of contracting. One significant way that it expresses itself in the practice of Zhuang is heaviness. Heavy sinks down and light rises up. And when our practice is at this, I don't really want to say level, because we try to avoid the kind of level idea in Zhuang, but there's a distinction between the experience of just body and mind connecting. There is a chi level of practice where you're not really, it's not, you're not necessarily thinking about the details of the body. You're adjusting at the chi level. Is the heaviness solid? There's it's a physiological feeling of utter solidity. It's like the earth and this body become one thing. And if the earth and the body are not one thing, then there is like these kind of bubbles of lightness, of unsettledness that are disrupting our actual practice. So what happens in Zhuang, it's not what we're supposed to do, it's not what we want to do or should do. It's just what happens. If we do the practice, it will settle down, and this body and the earth become this connected thing, completely solid and heavy. And so that it's that feeling of keeping kind of a chi solidification is kind of hard to talk about, because it's like talking about
I just
your
follow
embodied
you
experience
about that.
and
It's
all
okay for me.
stuff is like it's a consolidated feeling, but at the same time there's
there's always
above. And so
like
if we're attending to that, the solid and the open together, then the details of the posture follow that. So we're maybe not having to think like, oh, is my chin down? Because if we're in that kind of chi quality, that the head takes that.
Chi stayed there.
There's a very profound, I could probably speak of this in total opposites. On one hand, there's a non-seriousness about the practice, but on the other hand, there's a very profound seriousness in the practice, as though we're taking our head, and by head I mean our identity, and we're plunging it into the depths of non-self. And so like this month's chapter, we talk about experiencing the abyss. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm experiencing the abyss. No, it's everything that we hold dear, like a skin being flayed off of our body and going all the way down. Recognizing that indeed everything we hold dear, our face, our name, our loved ones, beautiful colors, songs, everything that gives us joy in life. Zhuangzi, one of the ways he described this practice was a withered old oak, right? A withered old tree, or cold dead ashes. Just all the passion dies out. It's like we cut off our head. It sounds pretty grim when we talk about it that way. But
extreme.
it it goes all the way. Today's the dark moon,
Yeah,
so the the practice of Zhuang is like the dark moon. We go all the way into darkness. Everything that appears, anything that appears, no.
yeah.
That's
I was
Zhuang.
thinking that way. Yeah. If it appears, no.
And it's how strange that the more we really go into this headless darkness, um, there's actually sublime radiance that will start to drop itself into our body.
Absolutely.
But it's only if we are really, really like serving ourselves up on the altar, like
Like
here I am
serving.
giving myself up. And this is one reason why I think bowing is such an important practice. It's not part of this group, but it's a ritual gesture of I take myself and I'm down. I knock my head to the ground
Oh yeah, like
over
this.
and over and over again. And
Yeah.
it's a way of embodying this kind of death experience. Or, it's not like trying to get something, it's
No, no.
acknowledging what
Yeah.
is the case.
No.
And I think of bowing having a similarity to Zhuang in view, although bowing, people bring strange ideas to bowing, and I think Westerners really have a problem with that because you know, um, like you're bowing to some deity or something, but that's not really the view. It's just bowing. It's just giving up, just recognizing that this is, what appears to be, say, me.
Mm.
Yeah, giving that up into the a larger me, I suppose.
Yeah.
And Wu Wei Dao is really based on trusting in Dao. It's
Yeah.
not based on trusting a lineage or our own effort. Certainly not. It's if anything, it's maybe not based on, but associated with a kind of distrust of our own effort and our own ideas, our own contrivance. So, what is our situation if we relax? And we see this as not um, something that we work toward to get, but moment to moment to moment, it's whether or not we feel as though we're experiencing it or not, it is this infinite, inconceivable, whirling, chaotic power that is
Chaotic.
upholding us right now.
I didn't
Um,
understand chaotic.
it is, chaos,
Oh yeah, chaos. Okay. Okay. Okay.
chaotic. Yeah.
Mm.
So it's not like really ordered. There's order within
Yeah. Yeah.
chaos,
Yeah. In
but
disorder,
it is,
order is coming.
yeah. And the way that we, and this is a kind of alchemical way of understanding uh, the more gentle we become. Like we can say empty, and we can say uh, gentle. Like I'm talking really, really gentle. The more gentle we are, the more open. It's like the stiffness and aggression will block this stuff coming in. And so Zoang is utterly silent and utterly still and utterly without my own agenda. If I bring my own agenda to it, then that is setting up a web of blockage. And, you know, that's most of our life. Like, okay, well, within, you know, in Taoism, sometimes they call it what is the post-celestial, meaning the generative, what is kind of arisen, and how do we work with what is arisen to get stronger, get smarter, get more knowledgeable, become an expert in some field, or develop some kind of excellence. Excellence is wonderful.
Yeah.
But it's not, it does not lead to the nameless origin. And so Zoang is something different from all of that. And so gentle, 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 then there can be this opening. But the power that is coming in is inconceivably potent and inconceivably radiant. But if we are holding on to our own, call it light or radiance, then that it's like it casts a shadow. So in Zoang, we go into utter darkness, like today. It's the dark moon. We go into utter darkness. And in that utter darkness, there's this opening. But again, what really distinguishes Taoism and some of the Indian arts too, but is the cultivation of a chi base, so that when we arrive at our cushion, when this happens, we can take it. We're not, you know, I think most people think in terms of like kind of building up a chi base, and then that's going to kind of concentrate power. And then that concentrated power is going to enable us to like go and do special celestial stuff. Maybe that happens, but that's not our tradition.
Yeah.
Our tradition is we go into really darkness and stability, but then stuff comes in, and just call it open and radiant. The stability, you know, and the chi base that we develop, I guess we can say establishes a foundation.
Yeah.
And so that foundation, it's not necessarily there. Like, we don't have a concept behind it. It's just establish a foundation. That's enough, and so on.
That's enough.
But pragmatically speaking, what happens if the chi is stable down below? Then it just so happens that stuff may open up. And if it opens up, then we can take it without getting weird. Maybe we'll get a little bit weird, but not too weird. We don't talk about breakthroughs in Zoang. Like a breakthrough experience where you go and have like a peak experience and like, psh.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We don't talk about that in Zoang. We are releasing our aspiration for breakthrough experiences. But breakthrough experiences just may happen. If we have cultivated ourselves well from a Wu Wei Dao perspective, when a breakthrough happens, it's just like another breath or passing gas or something, or your stomach growling. It's like, oh. And you just go about your day. It's not like, oh my
Only
God, look what
that.
just happened. And then you need to go journal and write. And if we do need to journal things out, if we do need to write poetry, if we do need to go dance or whatever, that's fine. But if we've really cultivated Wu Wei
Yeah.
Dao, breakthrough experience is not necessarily a reason to go do anything in particular. And if we experience, call it a breakthrough, and we stay stable, then we're in the practice.
Okay. Great.
Part of the mindset of a true adept is that, the thought that I am meditating, I have a spiritual path, that doesn't come up. If I have a spiritual path, and if my practice is about either like, where am I going or what is my experience, if it's centered around myself, it's not the mindset of a true adept. The mindset of a true adept, it's not necessarily holding grandiose concepts, but it's a recognition that as I sit, all beings are sitting with me. I don't have to bring all beings in a conscious way, because how much strength would we need to do that? But actually, it really is the case that all beings are sitting with me. And as I go and say I misconduct myself or something, I'm taking all beings along with me there.
Yeah.
So this process of showing up and settling, Liu Ming spoke of the role of an adept in the Taoist tradition as being rectifying the qi of the cosmos. And Chinese Taoism has really amazing ritual practice that does that. As for me, very simple mind. Zhuang, and this is Lao-tzu's basic message. If we just then the world rectifies itself. So if we have a mission, if we want to bring a mission to the practice, then there's a reality that our practice adjusts the qi of the world. And so if our practice is about, how do I improve or develop myself, it's such a shallow thing. But if it becomes practicing with all things, then I think we're able to experience what Zhuang is in its true sense.
Okay.